Welcome to another edition of Ruggers, and today we're going to discuss the British and Irish Lions tour coming to South Africa. Arriving this coming Tuesday, and our first big game against the Xerox Lions.
No, just the Lions.
Just the Lions.
No sponsor.
Miskien moet hom oorbegin. Ons begin oor. Slip op. Ek moet hom afpas. Welcome to another edition of Ruggers, and today we'll be discussing the British Irish Lions tour to South Africa. They are arriving on Tuesday. I spent the past couple of weeks watching the reruns of the documentaries of the previous Lions tours to South Africa, New Zealand and Australia, and got me thinking as to what causes the passion amongst these Lions players. And why do I say that? I mean, between Lions tours there are 4 different countries playing each other, enemies. Some countries really don't get along, and suddenly
none of them get along.
And suddenly they're in a Lions tour, and judging from the comments of those players, it's a childhood dream to play for the Lions. It's an extreme honour. They put everything on the line during the matches. And then for them, I think for most of them, it's more important to play for the Lions, or be selected for the Lions, than to play for their own country in the Rugby World Cup. So that got me thinking in terms of what causes this unique form of passion that binds them together, and obviously during these tours, and they take losing very seriously. Even the midweek games where they play against a small province, if they lose that match, it's like death in that change room afterwards. Yes, but very excited for them to be coming. Finally.
Well, they're coming, yeah. It has been confirmed no spectators will be allowed. We've just heard this afternoon that the Georgia tests, it's not in jeopardy, but all the Springbok practices and everything has been stopped because of 3 COVID cases. But yeah, the passion, yeah, it's. I've got some Irish family, and I mean they hate a pommy with passion.
Yeah.
But when the British and Irish Lions are there, everybody is supporting the British and Irish Lions.
I was going to say, look at the masses of Lions spectators and followers that make the effort. Suddenly 4 different countries are bound together, just for that specific tour, and then when it's over, they back to Ireland.
I think maybe it's because it's the only way they can win the Springboks.
Basically, yeah.
Because on their own, not the last few years, but normally on their own they didn't stand much of a chance.
Good friend of mine said to me, and he'll know, he's yesterday, as a matter of fact, we had a long discussion. He says the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So in this case, the common enemy is obviously the Springboks for these four countries, and together they become friends.
But we had a game yesterday against Japan, the Brave Blossoms.
Yes.
Not good.
No, I actually found I was quite bored, to be honest. Firstly, because it took forever between players. They take forever to form a lineup. That I blame the referee for that. Took forever to get the scrums going. Unfortunately, you could see Japan hadn't played since 2019.
But the Lions hadn't played till 2017, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at the amount of match experience that the Lions had within their own union.
In the Tri-Nations and everything, yeah.
So, look, it's the first game, if you want to use that excuse. But bottom line is, Japan was flat in the beginning. They did manage to come back in the end. Forwards didn't dominate at all. Actually, it became a training match, in my opinion, for the Lions. We also, they had a powerful, I think most of the top players were on the bench. Supposedly impact players came on the second half, and that's actually when Japan started playing better rugby. So I don't think that plan worked either. Point to note during the match is obviously the loss of their captain.
Alwyn Jones has not been
due to the shoulder injury. I mean, he's out for the tour, unfortunately. The big question now is, what impact it's going to have on the tour. Possibly, I think there's going to be an impact. The new captain who was appointed, Conor Murray,
from Ireland.
Your opinion?
Well, he's a good captain, and I mean he's a good player, but I don't think he has the personality of Alan Wynne-Jones. It's going to affect him seriously, and I think they're going to use it seriously. I'm not, suddenly after the game I saw yesterday, I'm not worried anymore. I mean, they showed a little bit of their hand. Obviously they wouldn't have showed everything. They're going to be good in the tight faces, they're going to be good in the scrums. Their lineouts didn't impress me that much.
No.
And I'm worried about the South African lineouts because Loot, Eben and those guys will definitely well, maybe they'll be available for the first test or so. There's talks that Ergie and Eben will play in the SAA team.
Just to give them game time again.
Just to give them game time. The Lucy's didn't impress me, although they were quite good on the counter.
No.
I don't know what did you feel about the efforts?
Look, we discussed this. You know, what type of rugby do they want to play? It was obvious that they were trying to avoid the forward contact rugby, and they obviously playing the ball wide and quickly. The running type, the traditional Lions running type rugby. I think it's going to be their game plan to avoid the Springbok forward confrontation, unless they're up to it. In that case, I can tell them good luck. You're going to need it.
Yeah, it didn't look like. I mean, they really played away. I mean, they didn't commit to the
breakdowns.
The breakdowns or nothing yesterday.
I mean, at one stage you could look at they had 3 Lions defenders on every one Japanese ball carrier, and then if you're going to play that, it can work in your favour. But then, if I was the Springboks, I'd pick up on that and plan my game accordingly. In other words, driving through the middle, driving with the forwards, slow the game down, grind them up front.
Play World Cup rugby.
Play World Cup rugby, because I still firmly believe that our forwards will outmatch them man by man easily. So
I think so.
Yep, I'm confident.
I must be honest, I was worried about it, but I personally think I'm looking forward to the Lions against the British and Irish Lions.
Exactly.
Because the Lions will at the minimum meet them in the physical challenge up front. The loose forwards and everything, I think we've got them one up. And then our backline is going to be...
Yes, our Lions.
Our Lions.
Our
so
Lions
I'm looking
have the talent in the backline. They have.
I'm looking forward to this. Suddenly, I mean, after what Benetton did to the Bulls, I said, oh, a dawner. And now suddenly I'm excited.
Exactly. And so, no, definitely. You know, it's rugby. Anything is possible. We might be pleasantly surprised or not, you know.
And Cash said he's going to stretch them. He said he's going to bargain up the altitude and that kind of stuff. He's going to play on that. So we can expect from the Lions on Saturday to play a very quick and fast game.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we're very much looking forward to it. So
it's a pity we don't have the Irish and the British and the Welsh and the Scottish guys here. It would have been quite nice to look at them and laugh at them.
Because let's just quickly talk about how this is going to be managed. It's basically going to be in the bubble principle again. 2 bubbles, one in Johannesburg and one in Cape Town.
Yeah.
That's why the Sharks are also playing in Johannesburg. Unfortunately, I think from the Lions touring squad perspective, I'm not sure it's definitely not going to be such a sociable tour as it traditionally is.
It's not going to be. I mean, like
they'll be restricted.
Rusty said this morning, every Springbok player, they basically took over the whole hotel. So there's no roommates or anything. Every guy's sleeping in his own room and everything. So yeah, it's not going to be that easy for the British and Irish Lions here.
From a social perspective, our teams need to quarantine 10 days before actually playing them.
Yeah.
The Lions are already in that quarantine. So, once again, it's not there's a lot of logistics behind this tour, safety precautions being taken, which complicates things tremendously. And let's just really hope that there's going to be no COVID issues during the tour, because that'll
I think we're going to have COVID issues, but
how it's going to be managed is obviously
the way the Springboks managed this morning when the guys came into the hotel. They were tested, 3 guys were positive, taken out, and now everybody's waiting and watching to see what's happening.
And then also, how often do they get tested now?
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
Yeah. So for those who do not realize it, like myself, I never knew it. I mean, there's a lot of happening behind the scenes to try and make this tour work. Sadly, no spectators. I think the Lions are going to miss it. That big, huge, red crowd that follows them around. And I was fortunate to watch the second test match in 2009 at Loftus. And I think I wrote it in my article. I went into the box to get a drink, and then I heard this massive roar. Assuming the Springboks scored, went outside, and it actually was the Lions. And there were more Lions supporters there in Loftus that day than Springbok supporters. But you know what? It is what it is. We're just happy to have them here, and that it's actually going ahead, because I know there were some stages, lots of pressure that the tour should not go ahead. But they are arriving on Tuesday, and yeah.
Kom ons mors hulle op. They wouldn't understand that one. But yeah, the British and Irish Lions are here. Everybody's excited to watch them and witness this whole festival and this whole tournament that only comes around every 12 years. You maybe make the next one.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Yes. I don't think I'll make the next one. But yeah, it's once in a lifetime for the players there, and yeah.
Also, remember the Springboks. It's also once in a lifetime to play against a Lion. Is also just as important for Springboks.
It's Van Steen that's going to play the second one, and Morne Steyn.
Yeah.
The 2 Steins are the only ones, and before that it was Osteron that played twice against them.
Exactly. So also remember, it's also a big honour from the Springboks perspective to be able to play against or participate or be part of a Lions tour.
Yeah. So let's go Bokke and the Transvaalse Leeuws on Saturday.
Transvaalse Leeuws.
We'll be behind them. Great stuff. Enjoy. Thanks a lot.